Alright, so we should consider the lockdowns as yet another example of undesirable consequences from government action. It was not as if we didn't have clear examples from the beginning of this epidemic and how it affects different people, even going back to the Princess Diamond cruise ship, where a few thousand people were crammed into a tight space together, and around 80% of the people who had COVID showed no symptoms or mild to average symptoms, and the older someone was, the worse they got it. That seemed to tell us that the focus should be on the elderly or the immunocompromised. That is who should have been told, hey, it's really not smart to go out into crowded places, wear a mask, don't touch your face, use disinfectant liberally, or try and get someone to go shopping for you, etc. Everyone else, be careful, but you'll likely never know you had it even if you do get it, but still be careful, try not to visit your grandparents, and don't make out with strangers. That is the message that should have been sent out since the beginning, yet instead of that, we went on near total lockdown, we nuked our economy, politicians turned neighbor against neighbor, absolute chaos and confusion was broadcast to the masses, and abject fear and hysteria was thrown around, so much so that your average person never stopped for a moment to think of the possibility that this may cause way more problems than COVID itself will cause. Because now what have we got? We have the distinct possibility that we will have a massive rise in suicides, which has been reported throughout the US. We don't have direct numbers yet, but people in medical fields have already started stating that they're seeing a huge spike in suicides. This should not shock anyone. Research done after the SARS outbreak in Hong Kong showed a significant rise in suicides because people were fearful of contracting the illness, feared being a burden to their family, general anxiety, social isolation, psychological distress. Well, all of these things have been whipped up to extraordinary levels by the media and our politicians. It should be absolutely no surprise that when you devastate the economy, throw untold millions of people into unemployment, decimate who knows how many small businesses that the owners of which put their life's work into, take away people's livelihood, throw whether or not people will be able to feed themselves into question, you are going to cause mass psychological issues, which will assuredly lead to loss of life that otherwise would not have happened if not for the government clamping down on everything and laying waste to the economic landscape. There were certainly question marks since the beginning surrounding COVID. I don't think anyone would deny that. I certainly wouldn't, but the effects of the lockdowns should not be shocking to anyone. It's precisely what those who kept using their brains knew would happen. The other thing, of course, is who knows what the effects of such a drastic increase in food insecure people in the US and abroad will have. You could very well see people starve to death. But even setting that aside, malnourishment for children is a severe problem as well, which can have lifelong lasting impacts on one's health. And we've already seen a huge increase of people relying on charitable assistance to get that next meal. So one thing to point out, though, is too many media outlets are talking about this stuff and saying, due to the COVID-19 pandemic or the coronavirus outbreak caused X, Y, and Z. I take issue with that. That's where they've got it wrong. COVID itself did not cause these things. The abject hysteria and frenzied madness that the media and politicians injected into nearly everyone, that is what caused this. Oh, and not for nothing, the government-mandated destruction of the economy played a rather significant role as well. So, all in all, if there's anything we can hope to come from all this, hopefully, your average person says never again to this. This cannot be the reaction we have every time some new disease comes about. Could a disease be catastrophic? Absolutely. But that actually is not a guarantee. Now, could the nuking of the economy be catastrophic? Well, absolutely. And that is a guarantee. There are no question marks there. That is a certain unavoidable destructive result if the government goes down that path. And it's sad to see how easily and quickly they chose to bring everyone down that path. It's horrible and tragic, but it really is that simple. But that's all for now. Like, subscribe, and share, and take it easy.